ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony will commence very soon. Please take a seat, and we will now start showing a short video of recap from the last 4 years of forums.
It's my pleasure and honor to be involved in Shanghai for Asian and National Forum. You can amazing.
Because you supported and you admit the Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum holds the trees for us all.
Good morning, honorary guests, fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Benjamin Sung.
I'm Jackie Lee. It is our great honor to be the host for today's ceremony.
On behalf of the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine and the organizing committee, we would like to extend our warmest welcome and gratitude for all of you to joining us in Melbourne, Australia for the 2018 Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum.
The annual forums have always been a highlight of the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine and a great opportunity to share our experience and knowledge. With the support from all of you, we have succeeded tremendously in our forum in the last 4 years.
This year, we're delighted to host this meeting again and in Melbourne to provide an invaluable opportunity for all of us to gather, participate, and inspire in the special event with the World Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology.
So without further ado, we are now opening the ceremony with our first welcoming speech from the Dean of the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine, Professor Gang Huang. Welcome.
Dear Professor Scott, dear Professor Hatazawa, Professor Bong, Professor, a lot of professors, dear friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are very happy and honored to be with you all here in Melbourne to participate the 4th Asian Nuclear Medicine and Academic Forum. This is the first time for the Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum is held outside of Asia and in conjunction with the World Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology. On behalf of Asian School of Nuclear Medicine and in my own name, I'd like to express my deep thanks for this wonderful opportunity in a beautiful city of Melbourne to learn, to exchange, to communication with all the colleagues in the field of nuclear medicine from all over the world. Looking back over the past 5 years, our sense is Asian nuclear medicine has grown very quickly and have filled with vigor and vitality. The Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum has provided a good platform for the development of nuclear medicine, which is not only working on the differentiation in various scientific research, but on the integration of molecular imaging. Right now, there is a buzzword in medicine, namely precision medicine. That has been attracting a great deal of attention worldwide, nationally, including nuclear medicine professionals as well. My feeling is nuclear medicine plays a tremendous role in precision medicine. With nuclear medicine and molecular imaging, clinical physicians can quickly know how effective the treatment is, allowing them to target the treatments more accurately and more successfully. This is the promise of precision medicine. Faced on these opportunities, the rising nuclear medicine professionals' challenge has been initiated 4 years ago in Beijing during 10th Academic Conference of Chinese Society of Nuclear Medicine. It's an interesting and special forum just for young professionals in the field of nuclear medicine and molecular imaging from Asian and now has become a distinct part among the event held by Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum. Furthermore, this year, with the help of
World Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology and the support of Society of Nuclear Medicine and Molecular Imaging, European Association of Nuclear Medicine, and many other societies of nuclear medicine, we are pleased to have participation for young practitioners from Australia, Germany, South Africa, and Brazil. We are looking forward to see all of you during the program later on today in room 218. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely hope all professionals and scholars will continue to keep in communication with each other, learn from each other, and make progress together using this wonderful platform established by the Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum. Also, your insights and suggestions regarding developments of nuclear medicine are critical in the further enhancement of Asian nuclear medicine. In turn, help us tackle the next obstacle we may face in the multidisciplinary field of nuclear medicine and contribute to the development and advancement of nuclear medicine in different regions. I'd like to express my gratitude to our Chinese enterprise, our diamond sponsor, Chartwell Medical, and Dr. Mototora Ka for their generous support and for bringing Asian School of Nuclear Medicine and World Federation of Nuclear Medicine together in this joint symposium. We are proud to bring together the brightest minds in the field of nuclear medicine from Asian to a bigger stage in World Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology. Along with the Chinese Nuclear Medicine Enterprise Union, a showcase of outstanding and emerging companies in the field of nuclear medicine from China, we would like to welcome all of you to visit our booth. Once again, on behalf of Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum, organizing committee, volunteer, and staff, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation for all of you to attend our opening ceremony and our following events. Finally, I want to mention a very important thing, that is 2019 Asian Oceania Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology Academic Congress will be held in Shanghai, China next year. We warmly welcome to attend and contribute to this important Congress next year. Shanghai is an international modern metropolis which combines the Chinese and Western features. So we call it the Gallery of World Architecture. Please join us for 3 days in Shanghai next year. We will give you unforgettable memory. Thank you very much, and warmly welcome you to Shanghai next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Huang. I believe under your leadership and the support from all of us in the Asia region, our combined determination and cooperation can push the boundaries for nuclear medicine development in Asia and in the world.
So next, let us invite the President of the Asia-Oceania Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology, Professor Jun Hadazawa, to deliver his opening remarks. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Asia-Oceania Federation of Nuclear Medicine Biology, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizer, Professor Fan Gan, and big supporter, Professor Kai Mototora, to organize 4th Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum, 5th Asian Nuclear Medicine Professional Challenge, and 3rd Cognitive Impairment Symposium under this occasion. I'd like to express my congratulations to Professor Andrew Scott to organize such a wonderful, nice occasion of World Federation of Nuclear Medicine Biology here in Melbourne, in South Hemisphere. This area, Asia and Oceania, has almost 2/3 of population in the world. The nuclear medicine in this area is now waking up. And we are working together with global communities of nuclear medicine. We are promoting this activity more and more. This region is so heterogeneous in the people, in the culture, economics, and natural environment. However, I love the equality of physics truth, such as fluorine-18 has almost 110 minutes half-life everywhere, for everybody. I love this equality very much. Under this truth, we work together to promote nuclear medicine for our patients. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to declare the opening of this year Asian Nuclear Medicine, Asian Oceania, sorry, so many symposium here. Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum. And I hope you all enjoy this wonderful occasion in Melbourne. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Hazazawa. We're sure that with your generous and ongoing support for ASNM and AOSNM, we will continue to contribute in making a difference for patients in Asia, Oceania, and around the world. With our continuing education and training programs for doctors and practitioners in nuclear medicine. Next, let us proceed to our ribbon cutting ceremony. Could we invite the following honorary guests to the stage, please? Professor Gang Huang, Dean of the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine. Professor Jun Hazazawa, President of the Asian Oceania. Professor Andrew Scott, President of the World Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology. Dr. Diana Payas, Head of the Nuclear Medicine and Diagnostic Imaging Section of IEA. Professor Henry Bohm, Chairman of the Asian Regional Cooperative Council of Nuclear Medicine. Professor Yaming Lee, President of the East Asia Nuclear Medicine Association. Professor Bennett Greenspan, President of the Society of Nuclear Medicine and Molecular Imaging. Dr. Mototora Kai, Secretary General of the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine. Professor Yan Priam, Chairman of the European School of Multimodality Imaging and Therapy. Professor Akrim Al-Ibrahim, President of the Arab Society of Nuclear Medicine. And lastly, Professor Irene Bergolini, President of the World Association of Radiopharmaceutical and Molecular Therapy. Will our guests kindly pose to the camera in front of you? And to the gentleman in the blue. On the count of 3, would you all hold on to the ribbon and cut the ribbon at the exact same moment? Is everyone ready? Audience, let's count together. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all for your cooperation. Please, would you kindly return to your seat as we prepare for our group photo. Thank you. Can we have the cameraman on the stage, please, for the group photo? Can everyone please stand up for our group photo, please, and follow my instructions? So for the first photo, let's just show the camera our brightest smile. And on the count of 3, could you all say good? 1, 2, 3. Good. All right. So let's do that one more time, but this time, could I get morning? 1, 2, 3. Morning. So for our last photo, can we get a thumbs up with your right arm for all the hard work behind the scene from WFMB and ASNM and each and every one of you for showing up this morning and making this opening ceremony a possibility. And for the last photo, on the count of 3, could I get an Asia, Oceania? 1, 2, 3. Asia, Oceania. Thank you so much. Please, have a seat.
That was fantastic. I think we all deserve a round of applause for ourselves for the beautiful smiles. And now, please join me to welcome the Secretary General of Asia and Oceania Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology, Professor Rehan Hussain, to the stage to deliver his presentation on the past, present, and the future of nuclear medicine in Bangladesh. Welcome.
And my fellow colleagues, I'm very glad to be here, and I must thank the Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum as well as the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine to give me the privilege and the opportunity to say a few words about the nuclear medicine in Bangladesh. So, I'll begin with showing the national flag of our country. And you can see it has a similar design of Japan, excluding that the color background is the green. And this is the map in Bangladesh. And everyone may not know where it is. Actually, it's in the eastern part of the Indian subcontinent. And on the 3 side, it is surrounded by India and a little part of the Myanmar over there. So it's a small country, only about 150,000 square kilometers, but the population is 160 million. So it has the highest density of the population in the world. And as far as economy goes, it's a lower middle income country. But the best thing is that we are coming up in a sense that we have checked our population growth. It's now 1.1%. And the GDP for the last maybe 5-6 years, it has been over 7%. And the life expectancy has also risen up to 72 years. And what's the meaning of Bangladesh? Actually, Bangla is a language, and Desh means land. So it's a land of Bangla-speaking people. And these are some typical photos of the Bangladeshian elderly person, a young girl, as well as our icon in the cricket, the captain of Bangladesh team. If we go down to the history, it has been, there were dynasties, there were the Hindu, Buddhist, and then, Then there were the Muslims, and in the 18th century, British came. Then after Pakistan in 1947, and at 1971, we got our independence. And these are some from the Neolithic ages and the relics from the Hindu and the Buddhist civilization. And these are the typical medieval architecture of the traditional houses of worship. That's a mosque, and there's a temple. You can see very similar they look with the terracotta decorations. And these are some modern architecture with the there's the Parliament building, and the very famous landmark in Dhaka, which is in memory of the martyrs of the language movement. There's from the festival of our Bengali Bangla New Year, which was held just a few days back on 14th of April in English calendar. Now let us come to our subject, nuclear medicine. When it first started in our country, there were big confusions because the people having the biological background, they first thought that it is the nucleus of the cell which we are dealing, and many called it nuclear, to that it's making everything clear, and there were, of course, there were critics, and they told it's an unclear medicine. Now we have 24 establishments having 6 PETs, and there are SPECT CTs, gamma cameras, and we have about 100 physicians. And these are the distribution all over the country. We have centers. And this is the prime institution in Dhaka, what we call the National Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. And these are some of the centers outside the capital. This one is the southern west part. It's also in the southern part.
Nuclear medicine in Bangladesh is
there's
breaking barriers
little
and moving
video.
ahead. The year of 1962, dawn of nuclear medicine in Bangladesh. Nuclear medicine has started its journey more than 50 years back in Bangladesh. This historic tin-shed building is the birthplace of nuclear medicine in the country, which was located at Dhaka Medical College Hospital, the only medical college hospital in the then East Pakistan. Till 1970, the country had only 3 nuclear medicine centers. Liberation War in 1971. It was the war of our independence. The war ravaged the country. Like many other sectors, nuclear medicine sector was also shattered and came to a halt. After 9 months of war, the dream of our father of nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, came true, and Bangladesh became an independent sovereign country. Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission was founded in February 1973. Since then, nuclear medicine of this country is moving ahead. Bangladesh is striving and provides a good health service to its population through the modern technologies of nuclear medicine.
I must end this thing here because we have some time constraint. So actually, they were planned for the nuclear medicine way back in 1955. And at that time, the Pakistan government planned to build 2 nuclear medicine centers, one in Karachi and one in Dhaka. But actually, the work started in 1958, and it was inaugurated in 1962. So we consider 1962 as the year of birth. You have just gone through this photograph. And in those early days, we had very few equipments, like we had only rectilinear scanner and probe renogram. and for the optic system. But gradually, it expanded. In 1962, Professor Kamaluddin Ahmed joined nuclear medicine, and he is considered as the father of the nuclear medicine of the country. And later part, there were, in the 60s, there were more centers. Dr. Shaukat Jahan, who later moved to Kuwait. Dr. Kamaruddin Pramanik, he moved to northern part of the country, Rajshahi, and they were all the pioneers of the nuclear medicine of the country. And in 1970s, just after the Liberation War, 2 more centers were constructed. One in the northern part of the country where the iodine deficiency at that time was very prevalent, and so thyroid was a very important subject in the nuclear medicine in those days. Still now, it is one of the, has the lion's share. And in 1980, it was a landmark decision to build up the Institute of Nuclear Medicine, which is situated in the postgraduate, at the then Postgraduate Medicine Research Institute. Now it's the Medical University. And we had our first gamma camera, in 1983. There's a first ultrasound in the country. Actually, in Bangladesh, ultrasound is also, along with the radiology, ultrasound is under the umbrella of the nuclear medicine, as we call nuclear medicine and allied sciences. So in 1990s, there were many other centers, and in the early part of 2000, there were some private centers coming up. And in 2010, actually, we had our first PET city. And these are some of the equipments what we have. These are the very recent additions. And you can see the decorations and the room. These are the recent developments. This is some of the, and this is the pediatric unit. There's a spec city. And that was the first PET city in our country. And we have about 100 nuclear medicine physicians, about 15 to 20 medical physicists. We have also some radiochemists and technologists. There's a very traditional henna work for the ladies. And what are the studies we are doing? Of course, thyroid. We do the cardiology, the bone, renal, and many other systems, GI, testicular, salivary, liver, etc., lymphoscintigraphy, and other. And these are the recent additions. These are the brain aspects and the FDG brain studies. Regarding therapy, we do a lot of thyroid treatments for the thyrotoxicosis and thyroid cancer. Apart from this, we do not have much scopes. We do strontium therapies, and in the past we had P32, but nowadays we do not. Of course, we have the ultrasonograms, the hormone and tumor marker. In the past, we used RIA mainly. Nowadays, we are shifting towards CLIA. We have also teaching facilities, and our institute is affiliated with the university. Initially, the first postgraduate courses started in 1988. At that time, it was a one-year diploma in nuclear medicine. Later on, it was upgraded to 2 years master's program, and now it's upgraded to 5 years residency program. So there are 2 parts, and every year the university has allocated 10 students, 10 local and 1 international student for the course. And at present, we are having 11 students. And these are some of the classes. We have a research and developmental activities supported by IEA as well as the government of Bangladesh. We also have departmental research facilities. These are some of the seminars held there. And we have a very vibrant society, Society of Nuclear Medicine. It was formed in 1993. And Professor Kamaluddin Ahmed was the founder president, and Professor M.A. Karim was the founder general secretary. We do have a journal, and this was the first issue, and this is later on. Now it looks like this. And these are some of the souvenirs of our national conferences. We have some social activities as well as, these are very old photographs from the early part of the 90s. And we actually have our first national conference in 1994. We were all young at that time. And in 2003, we had a very big conference, ARCCNM in Dhaka. Some of you participated there. I can see Professor Bandyopadhyay over there. And these are some of the conferences in Dhaka. Professor El Ghazar and Professor Richard Baum is here. And it was in 2010 we had another conference, ARCCNM conference, and you can see all the leaders of the Oceania field, nuclear medicine. And these are some glimpses. After the conference, we had some river cruise. Actually, Dhaka, Bangladesh is a very riverine country, so we have lots of rivers. You can see Professor Padi and John Bascom. Again, these are from in 2013. Probably that was one of the last conferences Professor Padi attended. This is from the southern part of Bangladesh. We had a conference. It's on the sea beach, actually. And in 2015, we had a conference. Actually, it was in a river cruise. And Professor Hattazawa is here, Professor Baum, Gopi, and many others. And this is the last year in nearby Dhaka. We had there's a minister, and you can see Kaiser here, Kim Mint, and Sabi is also there. And this from the glimpses from that conference. And this is the very recent conference which we held in February. And you can see a lot of green. Green was the color of that conference. And in the international activities, our members do regularly participate in different conferences. And I had the opportunity to be the Secretary General for the AFNMB, as well as Treasury Union, Professor Mizanul Hassan, who played some role in the ASNM, especially during the initial days, and he was the Vice Dean. And these are some old photographs of our members participating in different conferences globally. This was with Enric. And of course, in Korea, it was just after the demise of Professor Padi in Philippines, in Mumbai. And this is some of the leadership meetings. And to pay respect to my parents, actually my dad and my mom, along with Professor Baum. And this was in the AFNB in Osaka. in Cancun, it's in Innsbruck, and China, Iran. So we are now looking forward to the expansion of our capability as well as the human resource development and establishing new centers. Currently, 10 more centers are under construction. Recently, IAEA has published an article regarding the growth and development of the nuclear medicine in Bangladesh. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that we have come a long way since our infancy, but still we feel that our facilities are very much inadequate as being a developing country and a long way to go, especially in a land of 160 million people. So before ending, I'd like to pay my gratitude to Professor Kamaluddin Ahmed and Professor Eme Karim, as well as all the members of our society. We have two societies, Society of Nuclear Medicine Bangladesh, as well as the Society of Nuclear Medicine Bangladesh Technologists, and the audience in this session for listening patiently and supporting me. So I have another small video clip. End here because time constraint. And thank you all. This is the national flower of Bangladesh. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Hussain, for such an in-depth presentation on the development and outlook of nuclear medicine in Bangladesh. To recognize the diligent work and dedication you provided to the development of Asia nuclear medicine, ASNM is honored to present you a certificate of appreciation. So please, let us welcome Professor Gong Huang to the stage, the Dean of ASNM, to present the award.
The President of the World Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology, Professor Andrew Scott, for his presentation on the future directions of nuclear medicine in Asia and Oceania. Please welcome.
Thank you. Professor Guang Huang, Professor Jun Hadazawa, and Professor in the Asian Oceanic region in the future. As was indicated before, the Asian and Oceanic region is a very significant one globally because of the population and innovation which occurs within this region. And the population growth which has been observed in the last 20 years in particular clearly appears to be on an upward trajectory in Asia in comparison to the rest of the world. And if you look at this slide, which comes from the United Nations, it indicates the relative population amounts in the different regions of the world. And although Europe and North America is quite high, Asia itself and Oceania continue to rise and will continue to occupy a significant part of the overall population of the world. But the innovation is clearly an area in which we have great preeminence. And nuclear medicine is no exception to this. I think when we approach nuclear medicine as a medical specialty, it's very important that we have a deep understanding of where the burden of health is within both regions, countries, and for individual populations. And we know that both high-income countries and low and middle-income countries coexist within the world, as well as particularly in Asia. And the relative prevalence of different types of diseases can vary between them all. But you'll note on this particular table and graph that the cardiovascular disease and cancer occupy very similar proportions to the overall disease which occurs in these countries. We do know that infection and diabetes also have a very important prevalence in low-income and middle-income countries, as it is in high-income countries. But the trends within all of these regions are similar, but some of the countries clearly have slightly different disease burdens we need to take into account. Now, nuclear medicine procedures have been continually expanding over the years. And it was estimated in 2014 that there were some 400 million procedures with technetium-99, so standard nuclear medicine procedures, which occurred around the world. And you can see that the predominant numbers exist within the USA and Europe, but Asia is slowly increasing. And at this particular stage, occupies approximately 25% of all of the procedures which occur worldwide as well. But we also know that in the context of nuclear medicine, that it's mainly in PET that the numbers are increasing, although I will go back to that shortly, because the embracing of PET technology has been extending into low and middle income countries as well as high income countries. And we'll reflect a bit on that penetrance shortly. But that does not mean that our general nuclear medicine procedures are not important, and they remain the bulk of the studies which are done globally and will be for some time to come. It's always relevant to think about markets because a lot of our profession is driven by the companies which provide both the technology and the radiopharmaceuticals that we use. So it was estimated, for example, the world market in 2014 was just over $4 billion US, but by 2030 is estimated to rise to 15 to 24 billion. And this is the result of two particular developments. One is the growth in the diagnostic market, although that's estimated to only be 5% year by year, but also therapy. And you'll note the estimates are that almost 25% year by year growth is anticipated in the future, and we'll get to that a little bit later. The US is obviously the major driver of technology and also radiopharmaceuticals because they also pay the most for the scans that they do. And it drives a lot of the manufacturers in terms of key markets. But increasingly, they're looking to Asia and Oceania, and particularly to China, where the increase in numbers of sites and also the technology and the sales of technology are anticipated to be a major proportion of global expenditure over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, this is a busy slide, and it may project hopefully right up the top, but it actually came from some very interesting data that was very generously supplied by Dr. Dana Paez and Mr. Thomas Pasquale, Dr. Thomas Pasquale from the IEA, as well as regional countries and the WHO. What you can see on the left-hand side here is actually the populations of the various countries which exist. I've got most of them, not all of them, but most of them within the Asia and Oceania region. And I draw your attention to a couple of key factors. The first is that when you look at the actual population over here, over on the far right-hand side is the estimates by WHO on what the health expenditure is per person in the population in that country in US dollars. And it actually ranges from, interestingly, Australia and Japan and Korea amongst the highest, around $4,000 per person, down to, for example, here, Pakistan, it's estimated that there's $134, which is actually used for healthcare delivery per person in the country. And so there are these huge discrepancies in terms of funding which is available, which obviously impacts on the delivery of health services and also on the types of studies that we do. And this is also reflected in the fact that there is huge differences in the numbers of nuclear medicine sites compared to the population. And in conjunction with that, when you're looking at gamma cameras, SPECT-CT and PET-CT cameras, there's clearly major differences between what we would classify as developed countries and developing countries. But interestingly, if you looked at this particular table 5 years ago, PET-CT would be markedly different. And one of the big changes which has occurred in the last 5 years is that all countries are accepting at a health technology and government level that this is an important technology and are starting to implement these facilities within the countries. But one other interesting fact that I draw your attention to is if you look at the number of gamma cameras compared to the number of SPECT-CT cameras, there is in fact quite a large discrepancy. And I believe that this is an area where we need to place renewed focus because of the huge benefits that SPECT-CT can provide over SPECT alone. And it is an area where it can impact significantly on general nuclear practice, medicine practice in all countries in this region. There's also a workforce issue I wanted to bring to your attention as well. So this column here refers to the number of physicians, the number of technologists, number of physicists, and number of radiopharmacists or radiochemists which exist within these countries. This figure here actually probably should be closer to 75 actually in Australia. If we are to achieve innovation and progress in nuclear medicine in the future, we have to have a vibrant, well-trained workforce. And I certainly commend the outstanding work of Professor Gang Huang, Professor Henry Baum, Professor Jun Hadazawa and colleagues in trying to bring a new generation of nuclear medicine physicians into a position of higher education, camaraderie, and clear vision as to where the future will go. But our technologist colleagues, many of whom are in the audience, are such a key part of what we do and are increasingly becoming more involved in the science, in the quality systems and the programs that we undertake. But physicists and radiopharmacists and radiochemists are part of the innovation as well as the clinical service delivery. And I think that one point we can reflect on is that both in developed and developing countries in our region, that working very clearly to define career paths and training for our scientists who work in our departments is a key target and aspiration for us moving forward. If we then look at the number of scans, it is hard to determine the precise number which actually are performed in countries year by year. And most of this data comes from Australia, Japan, Israel, Jordan, but we have also studied numbers from Malaysia, Thailand, and you can see here Philippines and also Qatar. And I hope to talk to some colleagues here in the audience to try and fill in some of these gaps for the other areas of Asia and Oceania as well. But again, you'll note that there is very significant differences in the number of scans which are done, and even in therapy, allowing for the fact that these may not be completely accurate. I found it very interesting that, for example, in Thailand, there's a very large number of therapeutic studies performed per year, and yet if we look at Myanmar, there's only 82, and here we have Jordan, which again is a smaller population. has a relatively consistent number with some of the larger population countries. So again, therapy does not appear to be necessarily as well distributed, but we know that the need is there in these countries. So a few comments on directions moving forward. I did highlight the fact that general nuclear medicine remains the bedrock and foundation of our practice. And I really don't see that this will be changing into the future because there are huge advances that have occurred in the technology with SPECT-CT, the ability to perform cardiac studies, pulmonary studies, GI studies, even moving increasingly to brain imaging studies, clearly has an important role, is important in patient management, leads to improved outcomes and has improved health economics as well. And I do think that SPECT-CT is something that we should be focusing very strongly on because the additive information that can be provided is in many cases profound. And just one example is in SPECT-CT scanning for lung imaging in potential pulmonary embolism, which has really changed, certainly in our department, in our institution, the way in which we do these types of studies. And will be continuing to do so into the future. And despite the fact that there was much commentary that our radiological colleagues with their contrast-enhanced studies would take over all of lung scanning, our numbers continue to remain very high and will into the future. PET-CT has obviously achieved a lot of prominence and is really where most of the new upswing has occurred within our region. And that's because of the huge evidence which has become available for its utility, mainly with FDG in the context of cancer, but increasingly in other tumour types, other health indications, including infection as well. And I think some of the pioneering work that has come from Europe, particularly the gallium PSMA and then the therapeutic studies with Professor Richard Baum, who's here in the audience, and our German colleagues and many of our European colleagues leading the way, was showing how somatostatin receptor imaging and PSA imaging can provide significant clinical information and alter management in patients with these diseases. One small comment on dementia. It's clear that this is something which has a huge global impact, and the very important point to make here is that the prevalence of dementia does not differ between developed countries and low-income and middle-income countries. It doesn't. And it's estimated that there's almost $1 trillion which is spent globally on dementia at the moment, by 2030 increasing to $2 trillion. And not only that, but if you actually looked at the amount that's being spent, it would be amongst the largest economies in the world. And as our population's expectation of age increases in all of our countries in the region, this will become an increasingly important question for health economics as well as social management. And we play an incredibly important role. Apart from the clinical assessment of a patient with short-term memory loss or behavioural abnormality, and where they often then go to not just psychological testing, clinical examination, but also MR, tailored imaging that comes from nuclear medicine will increasingly become a pivot part in the diagnosis and the management of these patients. It can be with PET, cerebral blood flow studies, or DAT imaging with SPECT. I do believe that this will be an incredibly important part of our future in the Asia-Oceania region. And finally, in therapy, we know that local regional therapy has a very important role in the treatment of patients, particularly with hepatic metastases of disease. And we'll be hearing a lot both today and during this Congress on the molecular characterization of cancer and using theranostics to guide the treatment modalities that we proceed with. And if there's one particular paper that I draw your attention to, which is really changing the perception of how nuclear medicine can impact in cancer, it is this prospective randomized trial which was published last year in the New England Journal of Medicine. We all knew that peptide receptor radionuclide therapy had huge potential, but the optics of this particular paper in the oncology community has very much changed the way that nuclear medicine is now viewed. And not only that, but this is a Lutathera-based therapeutic which is now approved in Europe and in the USA just in January this year. What we want is to have it available throughout Asia as well for the patients that need and deserve it. And so hopefully that will occur as well. In this context, developing strategies for radiopharmaceuticals and clinical trials will be key. And I also believe a last important point will be the training and credentialing of our physicians as well as our scientists. So I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I hope this is a bit of perspective on where our field is going in Asia-Oceania. The future is bright, and I hope that this Congress will inspire you and make you realise how well we're positioned and how we can move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Scott, for your remarkable presentation. And please remain and accept our gratitude for your generous support to ASNM. Let's welcome Professor Huang back to the stage to present the certificate.
Nuclear medicine and biology, in serving the growing demand for a greater platform in promoting training, knowledge exchange, and collaboration among regions in Asia and Oceania. In 2019, AOSNM will conduct its first forum in conjunction with the Asia-Oceania Congress of Nuclear Medicine and Biology in Shanghai.
So now, let's welcome the president of the Asia-Oceania Federation of Nuclear Medicine and Biology, Professor Jun Hadazawa, to come to the stage to tell us more about the upcoming AOC-NMB and ANMAF 2019 in Shanghai.
Good morning again, Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Asian Oceanian Federation of Nuclear Medicine Biology, I'd like to announce the founding of new organization for education training under AONMB, Asian Oceanian School of Nuclear Medicine. It was approved in the General Assembly meeting held in Yokohama last year during the 12th Asian Oceanian Federation of Nuclear Medicine. That time, we appointed Professor Huang Gan as the first dean of Asian Oceanian School of Nuclear Medicine. This organization covers from Arabic societies, Central Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Northeast Asia, and Oceania countries and regions. We had the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine in Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Central Asia. But our education training platform is extending to cover all our regions now. In Yokohama meeting, it is also approved the Shanghai meeting of AOFNB 2019, and Professor Huang Gan was appointed to be the chairman of the next Shanghai meeting. We have the video clip for Shanghai meeting, and it takes a few minutes, and you can imagine what will happen in Shanghai. And after that, we have some official ceremony. Let's have the show from Shanghai.
What a beautiful video. Next, let us welcome Professor Hadazawa and Professor Huang Gang onto the stage for the appointment of AOCNMB 2019 and the founding of AOSNM. Congratulations, Professor Huang, and thank you, Professor Hadazawa. Good morning, Asia, Oceania. We look forward to seeing all of you and your smile again in Shanghai next year during our joint Congress of AOC NMB and ANMAF. Lastly, let us invite the Secretary General of the Asian School of Nuclear Medicine, Dr. Mototora Kai, to conclude our opening ceremony.
Distinguished WFMB Congress Chairman, Professor Andrew Scott, President of the AOFMB, Professor John Hadazawa, President of the ARCCM, Professor Henry Baum, Dean of the AOSM, Professor Gang Huang, President of the EAMA, Professor Yaming Li, Section Head of the IAEA, Diana Pearson, and all of the guests and friends from Asia and Oceania, of Asia and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Today, we gather here in Melbourne to witness the new milestone of the Asian Nuclear Medicine Academic Forum, and to reintroduce nuclear medicine in Asia of the rest of the world. Asia School of the Nuclear Medicine is a member of the ARCCM, and its academic association's committee in providing continued education and academic exchanging among the young scholars in the field of the nuclear medicine. We convene of the exchanging among, we convene the annual academic meeting, and we have established 3 campuses locations in Osaka, Seoul, and Shanghai to provide a continued education and training program of our doctor members in the Asia regions. During the 12th AOFMB Academic Congress in the Yokohama, we have initiated the establishment of the AOSM of the future expander of the reach of the new member regions Oceania. Since 2014, when Professor Gang Huang first became the Dean of the ASMM, we have successfully had the academic meeting of the AMAF in Shanghai every year. During this time, we will welcome about 300 nuclear medicine specialists from regions all of Asia to AMAF to attend our academic program and symposium provided to the establishment of AMAF. Doctors in the field of the nuclear medicine from Asia so they have the opportunity to dial reports of the international stage. But our platform is providing the chance of the doctor all of the live to mutually intact and learning from each year. We really appreciate WFMB offering us the great opportunity to co-host with Dane Melbourne this year. As a return, we are proud to gather nearly 300 doctors in the field nuclear medicine from Asia to enter this international conference. We are held interested in inspiring and to learning. On behalf of the ASM and soon as to be the AOSM, we would like to invite you all attend our following academic program, including the Rising Nuclear Medicine Professional Challenge, the Connectivity in Parliament Symposium, and the ASM post-presentation. Lastly, we would like to extend our thanks gratitude to WFMB for making the joint event successful. We invite all of you our upcoming 2019 AOCMM Academic Forum in Shanghai. Thank you for your very time. I would like to wish all of you memorable experience and this Congress great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kai. Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our opening ceremony. And thank you all for attending this special event. And we will have a morning tea break right now. At around 11 o'clock, we will be starting our 5th Rising Nuclear Medicine Professional Challenge in room 218. And thank you. Have a very great day and productive day. Thank you.